All right, I got a guy booked today I want to talk to. His name is Jose Antonio Vargas. He comes to us from Berkeley, California. He's got a book out in paperback. Originally, he wrote this book in September 18, but he's upgraded it. In the introduction of the book, he cites me. Quote, since publicly declaring my undocumented status in 2011, greeted by the likes of Bill O'Reilly as the most famous illegal in America, I visited cities and towns in 49 states, engaging all kinds of people. Most Americans I discovered have no idea how the immigration system works, what the immigration citizenship process requires, how difficult, if not downright impossible, it is for undocumented people to get legal. All the while, undocumented workers like me pay billions of taxes to a government that detains and deports us. That sounds pretty dastardly to me. And as I said, Mr. Vargas joins us from Berkeley, California. So you and I don't see this eye to eye, Mr. Vargas, but we do have some common ground. I believe that Congress should make it easier for foreign nationals to work in this country. They have to have a clean sheet. They have to have no crime. They have to be responsible people. They probably have to put up some kind of collateral to get in here. But all that can be done. But I do not agree with you that the immigration process is that difficult. And I'll cite the stats. Okay, so there are 4 million legal Filipino immigrants in this country right now, at least. That stat is 3 years old, so you got probably about 5 or 6 million. Population of Philippines, 117 million, so we've been pretty generous to the islands, all right? In the last 5 years, there have been about 1 million new green cards. I think that should be tripled to 3 million, okay? And there are 4 million new U.S. citizens in 5 years. So you say that they don't understand. Well, 4 million do. Any reply to those stats?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Second
Sure.
of all, I do think we have more in common than you think. And I think a lot of it has to do with what shared facts we have. Um, Thank you for citing all those statistics. Actually, let me give you a little bit more statistics. So, estimated 5 million Filipinos, about 1.4 million of that in California, where I grew up since 1993. There are actually more Filipinos in California than there are people in New Hampshire, Delaware, and Rhode Island, right? Like that's how big the Filipino population in this country has gotten. And to your point, I'm grateful that the United States has been generous to the Philippines, and I think a lot of that also has to do with, the Philippines was a property of the United States. We were actually the first country that became a part of the American Empire in 1898 after the Spanish American War. So we have a long history together, right? So the Philippines was a colony of Spain for 350 years, and then the Americans came for almost 50 years. That's why apparently when you go to the Philippines, where I haven't been since I was 12, the Philippines is the most Americanized of all the Asian countries. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, to address your question, I've been thinking a lot about this since we just celebrated July 4th weekend. Apparently, during the founding fathers era, when the 13 colonies declared independence from the British Empire, there were 2.5 million people in the colonies. Right now in this country, and I don't know if I believe these estimates. I don't know, Bill, if you do. Estimates say that we have 12 million undocumented people in this country. I think there's more than 12 million. I
So
don't
do
I don't
I.
really I don't
No,
believe
but
that
but
number.
I want to. I want
So
to look. I want to advance your belief system. Now, you're an accomplished man. Okay, you won a Pulitzer Prize working for the Washington Post. You've contributed to this country. The name of your book is "Dear America: Notes of an Undocumented Citizen." But you have a visa. You're here. Nobody's going to kick your door in and grab you at this point. But it's been a struggle, and it's been a struggle that's unfair to you because you were a people smuggler brought you here when you were 12. Your family
when I
wanted
was
that to
12,
happen. Yeah. This is not your
yes.
fault. You had no, um,
I had no, but Bill, to your point, it took me 31 years. I have what's called an O visa, right? So I had to leave this country, since
to
I've been,
get the visa,
I've,
but I want to
to
go all
get
the
the
way through
visa.
that.
And
What I'm trying to
yeah,
say to you and to the audience is there are ways to do it. Not easy, but nothing worthwhile
yes,
is easy. You did it. Millions of other foreign nationals have come here legally. The people who come here illegally, okay, they have no right to feel entitled to be here. Now, I'm not saying they should all be mass deported. I'm not. But I want to get your take on a few things. Joe Biden opened the border, okay? Did you support that?
When you say open the border, meaning what? You mean when?
Come
when
on,
all
you know
those
what I mean,
refugees were
Jose.
coming-
Don't give me any of
What?
this. You know exactly what I mean. He opened the border. At least 12 million people poured across it, many of whom asked for asylum, not in the legal way, in the ports of entry. Wait, did you support the Biden program or not? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
What was your objection?
A couple of objections. The 12 million people did not come through during Biden's era. They've been coming for decades.
No, but at
You
least
and I
12
both
million
know-
did. At least 12.
No.
Every estimate, it's 12 to 15 under Biden poured in here, most of whom asked for asylum, violating American law because they didn't go to the port of entry. That's the stat from the federal government. You want to quibble? It gets us nowhere.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it gets us
well,
nowhere.
what
So
objection did you have to the Biden thing? What was your objection to that Biden?
My objection is I think the fact that we don't have an orderly system, like what you just said a few minutes ago, there should be a process that people ought to follow to come to this country.
Okay.
In the
and
same
I
way
agree.
that I
We're
follow the
on common ground.
Yes.
But what if they
Yes.
don't follow it? Come on. What if they
the
don't?
problem. Well, Bill.
Well, it's a problem. We have the right to kick them out.
Well, wait a second. Yes, we do. And however, that's why we have 12 million people in this country illegally, because there's no process for people to follow. If
But there
was
is a process.
For people,
There is.
Okay. As somebody, Bill, who lived through this, I had to wait 31 years for this window of an opportunity to follow.
Okay,
If
Jose,
I
I
could do
know it. I know that. But do you know how
Yes.
many immigration attorneys there are in California?
Oh,
Thousands.
Thousands. Yes.
And they're getting
So-
people to stay here by using our system of due process. So don't tell me there's no way that you can become a legalized citizen, because there is.
So Bill, why are there 12 million undocumented people in the country then if there's a process for them to follow to legalize?
Because they don't want to follow it, or they don't
See,
have the money to follow it. One of the two.
That, by the way, is, I think, the biggest myth in journalism that we have to break. That people are too lazy to follow a process. Look at the dreamers. The dreamers in this country had to pay $500, about 800,000 of them or so, had to pay $500 so that this government doesn't deport them, so that they can work legally.
Okay, look,
Right?
there's always
So
going to
we
be
have an
that kind of
example.
a thing. Trump is actually sympathetic to the dreamers. But Jose, for you to come on here and say there's no process for foreign nationals to come here legally is simply not true. They advertise on television. The immigration attorneys are out there. Come to me. I'll get you here. I'll get you there. It's a booming industry.
Bill, how many immigrants are there in the country today? Do you know how many?
Illegal
Millions.
immigrants or all told?
Immigrants in general, overall, how many? How many million?
Number, it's 50 million, something like that.
About 49 million. Of that 49 million, this is according to the Pew Research Center, which is a nonpartisan organization.
Right.
Within that 49 million, 12 million are undocumented, right? Those 12, again, and you and I both know
Yeah,
that
that just destroys your argument. Because
But
you're saying
wait a
there's no
second.
pathway,
Bill,
and most of the
Bill,
people
listen.
are here legally.
No. But wait, please hear me out here. The 12 million people live within 49 million people, right? There are people in that family, like in my own family, that could call lawyers and naturalize themselves and actually adjust and change their status. I was one of those 12 million people that couldn't just do that. I had to wait 31 years for this very specific thing so that I could legalize myself.
Okay,
If we
Jose,
gave
I
more
understand that, and I'm sympathetic to it. And Congress should. It's Congress's fault. They could make new laws that impose order. But for the left to scream that we have a Gestapo, that we're throwing people out and this, and we're
Well,
cruel. And that's just hype.
so
Last word.
one
Go
thing,
ahead.
one thing that we must agree on, this may be an opportunity. If there was ever an opportunity, now, look, we've been talking about illegal immigration since I moved to this country in 1993, right? If there was ever an opportunity to actually fix this problem and come up with a solution, this would be
All
it.
right, and
And
I
you just
agree.
said it.
You and I could probably come up with this, figure this out in 2
Solution.
weeks, okay?
Yes.
But these pinheads in D.C. all have agendas, one side or the other.
Yeah.
But I agree 100%. The book is Dear America, Notes of an Undocumented Citizen, Jose Antonio Vargas. Jose, thanks for taking the fire. We appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.